Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose.
Affirmative.
Okay, welcome back, folks, and boys and girls, to the Investigative Journal, that famous radio program that talks about the Vatican-led New World Order, all its tentacles, and talks about how the Jesuits control America. Yes, that's what we do here, and you don't see that very many places. If you go to Fox News, you go to CNN, you're going to get the mainstream opinions that are controlled by the Jesuits as well, the Hegelian dialectic. Greg Anthony here on January 4, 2019. So I Googled how the Jesuits control America, and guess what? 3 of my videos came up as the first 3. Why? Because I talk about it a lot, so I guess they must have put it up there. Now, there weren't that many views. Well, okay. And there were like 6 comments. I'm going to read the good comment. Thumbs up, Greg. Your views should be viewed by millions. Until it does, we won't be on any good path. Wow. I liked that one. And then another one was huge. Great show, Mr. S. How do you know my name was Mr. S? It's Greg Anthony. Oh, they probably listened to me when I used my surname. Oh, then we have one here that says Martin Luther was a Rosicrucian who encouraged sin. That opens up a really interesting story. Did the Jesuits control Martin Luther King to create another Hegelian dialectic chaos and the Reformation? We don't talk much about that, but it's something you have to think about. I guess you got to think about a lot of things. But yesterday, let's go back to my show yesterday. I peed off a lot of Christians, and I got a number of comments on that show. I hadn't done a show in a long time, so I figured what I'd do is tick off a lot of people so they'd listen. That's how people listen. Say something that really ticks them off and they'll respond. So I got 3 responses. Go, I remember listening to you, Greg, when you were a Christian. Okay. Listen, do you remember listening to me years ago when I said this, that life is like a circle and your belief system will go round and round and round, and what you believed in you will disbelieve in, and it all depends where you are on that clock of life. Okay, I've been around the clock of life a long time, and if you've been around as long as me, your belief system changes a hell of a lot. Let me give you a couple examples. I used to be a Democrat. Yep, a liberal. When I was first started out in journalism back in the 70s. Yes, I was a card-carrying liberal. I hated all Republicans, Newt Gingrich, the whole works. Ronald Reagan. Now, I hate all Democrats. Why? Because that's what they do to you. You can change, you got to change. Listen, the Democrats are socialists. The Republicans are now the Democrats. So really, I'm doing the same thing. I like America. Don't get me wrong, it's got a lot of great things. I studied constitutional law, went to law school. I love the Constitution. I love this country. I just don't like who controls it. And the Jesuits control it. And they do it for one reason. Fascism is the Vatican's major political system that they follow. They've done it throughout their history. They've killed more people in the name of God than anybody else. They masquerade as Christians. The Jesuits run some of the biggest institutions in the world, and they control all of our politics. They control Russia. They control China. What do you think nobody criticizes China anymore here in America? We talk about environmentalists, all you environmentalist people and you millennials out there who are going, oh, we've got to save the planet. No more straws. No more straws. Do you believe this? You can't get a straw anymore. It's going to be paper or whatever, and they don't work. Not that I ever like straws, but what happens when you get a broken jaw and you gotta drink only orange juice through a straw? What, the hospital in Washington, D.C., who's now banned all straws, and not going to give you one? Why did they ban all straws? As if straws make any difference in the system in America. Look, I don't like plastic as much as you do, and I don't think it helps at all. But did you realize that China is the biggest polluter of anything in our oceans, and we don't say a word about it? Why? Because our government works with China. And the Jesuits have been in China for years, and all they're doing is going to turn over this country to them. They don't want you here as a free American. So you better realize that. So here's the deal with straws. So they ban straws in Washington, D.C. Starbucks pretty soon is going to get rid of them all over the world. And other states are following suit. There's been California, of course. I guess started. You know the history of straws? They say there's some ungodly number of straws being used every day, but it's not verified. You know who did the study? A 9-year-old kid. But this one person did a study when they pulled out 36 tons of plastic and garbage out of a river near Washington, D.C. They found that only 4 pounds of it was straws. So you got 36 tons of debris being pulled out of your ocean, and only 4 pounds were straws. So I guess that's going to make a big difference. It's a moral difference. All they want to do is make life miserable for you and blame you when you should be blaming China. They're the biggest polluter of all. And until they do that, I don't believe anything they say. And if you want to look at the history of the Jesuits in China, it's a great study. And they were there a long, long time ago. In fact, some people think they wrote Sun Tzu's Art of War. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? And we've done shows on that in the past. So anyway, we're talking a little bit about, I got to clear up what I said yesterday. So I said some things about Christianity, and I said, listen, if you're a Christian, that's fine. And at this particular point in my life, I'm having a hard time believing in anything. Okay? And that's okay. Because it's me. And you got your views, I got mine. And I also was thinking after I did the show yesterday, I said, it'll give a lot of these Christians something to do. They can evangelize me, because that's all some of them want to do. Change everybody to be like them. I'm not saying there wasn't Jesus. I'm not saying you shouldn't believe in those things. I'm saying that I subscribe to the wheel of life theory, that at one point in my life I believed this, but until I disbelieved it, I don't really know if I was believing the right things. Looking at it from all sides. So now I'm disbelieving again. Big deal. Maybe you catch me in a year and I'll be believing again. So what's the idea? At the end of my life, I must believe? Let's say I die unexpectedly tomorrow. What the hell's that going to do me? I don't know. I'm being honest. My wheel of life goes on. I don't know when it's going to end. But I surely am not going to change my system. My wheel of life system. Which I'm sure other people subscribe to, but they won't admit it. So think about that. And so when you think about me criticizing, all I was saying was there's a whole hell of a lot of people that believe different things than you do. No matter what you are, atheist, Christian, evangelist, Hindu, Buddhist. And I like being around people that understand that. And there are a lot of Christians that do, and there are a lot of great people. Don't get me wrong. Over the years, I've met so many good people from the Christian faith. And they've taught me a lot about the Bible. They taught me a lot about a lot of things. However, I just wanted to make a point on my first show back that, we're not going to just sit here and talk to the choir. Talk to Western civilization and all the people that either were Christians when they were born, called themselves Catholics thinking they're Christians, and moving on and on and on, and then saying, listen, I'm going to cover my bases. I'm going to make sure that when I die, or if I'm, getting close to that by the years piling up, I am going to make sure I believe in something. So that in case there is a God, in case there is something afterwards, I'm going to be a part of it. Okay. My question to all of you is this. Let's think about this for 1 minute and go on to 10 things you need to know about the Jesuits to get started this year. Let's say you were born in 1960, okay? Let's say you were born in 1990. Let's say you were born in 1925. Let's say you were born in 1825, which means you're not around now. Many people that were born in 1925 aren't around either. The point is, do you remember anything prior to the date you were born? I mean, I don't remember when I was born, to be honest, and who does? And people ask me, well, what's your first memory? I was on a bicycle. I think I was like 5 years old. The cowboy hat on. But the point is, let's start with your birth date just to make it easy. What was going on for all those let's say you're a Christian, you believe 4,000 or 5,000 years. Let's say you're not, and you believe in hundreds of thousands of years prior to that. Where were you then? Do you remember anything? No. So what's the chance of it being the same when you die? Well, that's a good question. Because if you look at some of the people that have thought about that in the past, their answers are quite interesting. And try to Google it. I'm not going to do it for you. And one famous composer, when he was dying, was asked the question, do you think there's a God? And he said, I'd be surprised if there is when I get there. All right. And I am quite surprised that nobody in this world knows these 10 facts about the Jesuits. Just to refresh your memory, I'm looking at a picture of some of these Jesuit generals right now in front of my computer. Francisco Borgia, he was the third Jesuit superior general, stated, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravenous wolves. That's what they are. And Borgia said, we came in like lambs. Oh, wait, that was Yeshua in Matthew 7:15. Okay. I read that. Now, here's what Borgia said, the third Jesuit general. We came in like lambs and will rule like wolves. Jesuits don't change. Ever since Loyola formed this group in 1540, sanctioned by Pope Paul III, with one mandate to defeat Protestantism. Okay? They've never changed. And they're involved in most every nefarious thing in this country that you want to believe. You don't think so? Ask yourself who wrote the Patriot Act before even 9/11. And isn't it interesting that George Bush gave his September 11th, 1991 New World Order speech on September 11th? Then there was September 11th, 2001. Why did they use my birthday for all this crap? Thanks, guys. And guess when Benghazi took place? We all know what happened in Benghazi when we left some of our people there to die, just so that we could get the arms moving to Syria, and Father Del Oglio and his group over there in Syria from the Jesuits kind of making sure this all works. So we get rid of Gaddafi, and Benghazi happens when? On September 11th. Is that a coincidence? I think they just woke up one day and say, okay, let's use Greg's birthday. We don't like him. Let's ruin his birthday. That's what they did. How many more September 11ths do I got to worry about? So I wake up one morning, and there's 9/11. I wake up one morning, there's George Bush giving that stupid New World Order speech. I wake up one morning, there's Benghazi. And Hillary Clinton going, oh, it was a video. We didn't even know they were there. What a bunch of horseshit. Check out that. And you still allow this woman to roam around free? Yeah. It's a criminal world, and they control it. Don't think Trump and the rest of these guys aren't involved in it. He wouldn't have got there unless he was a New World Order man. And you know what? Watch him sit down. Anytime he's sitting down, he gives the upside-down pyramid with his hands, telling everybody he's the top dog here because he controls the military arm of the Vatican. London is the official financial arm, and then we got the satanic arm over there in Rome. How many stories have we done on that? Goes in one ear, out the other. You wonder why I get frustrated here. You wonder why. You wonder why I wake up sometimes and go, that's the last show. This is it. I'm losing my voice over this. Nobody listens. But they'll go out and listen to Alex Jones every day. That garbage. Because that's the way human nature works. The bigger the ball, the more the people want to play with it. Okay. The Society of Jesus, more commonly referred to as the Jesuits. Isn't it interesting they took that name? Just the opposite of goodness. That's how they play this whole game. What's good is bad. That's what George Bush did on his 9/11 speech. On his speech, a New World Order speech on September 11th, 91. He painted the New World Order out to be something glorious, something that's going to help the whole world get rid of borders, freedom, law. And all they're doing is talking double talk. It's going to be fascism and killing. Now, the Society of Jesuits are the armed militia of the Roman Catholic Church, yes. And they were sanctioned in 1540 by Pope Paul III, like I said, with one mandate, to defeat Protestantism and regain worldwide papal rule. They've been working on that for a long time, and they're getting pretty good at it. That's why all of these stupid politicians have to go to them for advice. Because these guys have been at it a long time. Hell, when you orchestrate the Revolutionary War and then control the way it's been told to people, man, we got to get together with these guys. That's why Georgetown University is right next to the White House. People then say, oh, you're nuts. These guys are nothing but priests. You're doing good. Oh, did you ever talk to a devout Catholic? Oh, my God. I was born a Catholic. And I was, as a young kid, I told a story. I flunked the altar boy test because I couldn't remember all the Latin phrases. So they really liked me, and I said, I want to be a priest. They made me the epistle reader at the Mass, which was even better because I got to read in front of people and get this beautiful radio voice ready for all of you. And I did it as a young kid. Greg the epistle reader. I didn't even know what the hell epistle was. In fact, I don't know a lot of what I read. The words were hard, but I had to read them the night before. And my mom would sit with me and we'd go over it so that I didn't make any mistakes. That's why I'm such a good radio broadcaster. I've been doing this for 20 years. I never made one mistake. Okay, I'm joking, right? You made a mistake. I don't think I've ever done a perfect show. I don't think I ever wrote a perfect article where I didn't make one spelling error. And then the other day I was trying to get a job with some people doing law stuff because that's where, I make some money doing legal stuff. And the guy said, oh, no, we read some of the things you can't spell. I said, what the hell does that have to do with the law? I mean, just use word, go in there and use that spell check. And then I had to explain to him that I really believed in the English language, etc., etc. So anyway, we got the Jesuits being formed to defeat Protestantism. And who was the kingpin of Protestantism? Of course, we had Martin Luther. He was a Catholic priest. So my question has always been this. Have we been told the truth about him? Because we know Jesuits use their own and put them into the truth movements today and say, for example, you got an environmental protection movement that's not exactly what they want. So they get in there. Let's say the chemtrail movement. They put a Jesuit there to say, yes, I believe in the chemtrail should be destroyed. And he destroys them from within. So did they place him in there to get this chaos started so that they could kill all these Protestants? Let's say there was no Martin Luther and he didn't protest. And they were just kind of like, okay, I just want to go home and read the gospel. And then they all just did it without any protest. Jesuits are going, well, who the hell are they? We can't kill them unless we know who they are. Now, I'm not backing that up with fact. I'm backing it up only with thought. It's a thought. And it would be pretty damn hard to prove going back all those years, just like anything is, when you try to go back 600 years, especially when they change history and they rewrite it. Because to the victor go the spoils, right? So let's just say, for argument's sake, that he wasn't a Jesuit pawn, and Pope needs to then get an army to kill the Protestants like they did, and you had the Inquisition, etc., etc. So the goal's always been papal rule, and I say the goal is to control the world and to bring everything back to Rome in a modern sense. Needless to say, they are achieving great success in their mission, which is climaxing now with this present Jesuit Pope. Interesting. Everybody overlooks it now. In fact, you don't hear as much from the anti-Jesuit camp anymore. A lot of the people that I started out with have either given up, or they've gone on to other things, or they've realized they can't change anything, so let's just forget about it. And then there's some people that still do the research. And the point is that it will never change. This is not going to change. And you have to understand it so that you don't live a lie your entire life. And that's all it's about. And you either want to get to some truth. And look, everything I've ever said on this show, I've disbelieved in the past. And there's certain things I say that I believed, disbelieved, and believed and disbelieved 3 or 4 different times. Because things change. You learn more. You see more. You hear more. And so the story changes, of course. But one thing that doesn't change is the reason I just mentioned, the reason behind the Jesuits and what they're really all about. And we can see their connections to our government. You can see their connections to Freemasonry, to the Skull and Bones organization. And at this particular juncture, they're ripping America apart internally with the MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, and the Democrat Socialists, who want to smother America with migrants, just like they're doing in Europe. So we'll see how it plays out and how quickly they will get there to their end game. Because what's their main saying? And we're going to end this first half hour with that. What's the Jesuits' main saying? The ends justify the means. So they have an end plan, and whatever they do to get there is justified. That's why they can, in fact, justify murder. And don't think they don't. Now, they are achieving this great success. Francis, the Jesuit Pope, is there. And some say he's the 8th and last Pope talked about in Revelation 17. You know, I always wonder sometimes. I said, somebody once who was a non-Christian and said, Greg, why do you waste your time reading the Bible sometime? You know, it's a waste of time. It's all fiction. I said, well, listen, if you think it's fiction, I'm not going to try to change what you think at this point. You're going to have to do that on your own if you ever do. But did you ever think that, but you agree with a lot I say about the political movements of Rome? Oh, yes, I agree. And a lot of the political movements of the Vatican, yes, I agree. Well, think about this. They probably understand the Bible more, than most Christians. And their goal is to copy it and to use it for their advantage. And when you get to that point, I think you can convince even an atheist to read the Bible. And you can see how it's used by, if you want to say Satan, Lucifer, satanic movements. You see it pretty clearly. And, boy, I got to take a break. Back in 3 minutes on the Investigative Journal.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app, for all of your mobile devices. Streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn. The Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, back for the second half hour of the Investigative Journal. Greg Anthony here, and I promised to give you 10 facts about the Jesuits that you need to know. But during the break, I decided to give you only one, and then maybe give you one a day for the next 10 days. How's that sound? 10-day Jesuit forecast. Well, let me do that because I want to play an 18-minute video, and it's regarding my favorite subject, so I'll get one of my favorite subjects, and it's not algebra, okay? The Jesuits today, this is a fact you have to know, control all the powerful secret societies that are shaping the NWO, the New World Order. Now, for those of you who don't understand this, let me explain it quickly. How can I do that? Let me see. Maybe use money? Let's try that. The Catholic Church, folks, is the biggest financial power, wealth, accumulator of wealth, and property owner in the world. The Vatican is a greater possessor of material riches than any country in the world, and than any other single institution, corporation, bigger than Amazon, bigger than Microsoft, bigger than what else, Facebook or whatever, bigger than any giant trust, government, or state of the whole world. The Pope, as the visible ruler of this immense amount of wealth, is consequently the richest individual in the 20th century. No one can realistically assess how much he is worth in terms of billions, trillions of dollars. And let me tell you why. Occasionally through my course of study and research, we ran across a couple court cases in the Ninth Circuit here in the federal courts with a couple attorneys trying to get to the bottom of the Vatican finances, which is next to impossible, because there really are no controls. It's a money laundering bank in Rome. Very simple. And that's just the beginning of what they own worldwide. So when you make this statement that the Illuminati, the CFR, bankers, mafia, Club of Rome, Opus Dei, Masons, New Age movement, highest government officials in the world are beholden to this organization, that's one of the biggest reasons. People, politicians, like to go where the money is. And the news media has failed to really explore this because they are controlled as well by this organization. Now, this group that I talked about, secret societies, includes Freemasonry, the Knights of Malta, the Bilderberg Group, and the high levels of Knights of Columbus, Opus Dei, etc. And what I've always been upset about is that none of even our top, and we say top, people like Alex Jones in the alternative, which I say that because if you do a research study, he's got more listeners than anybody, and so people must believe him. He doesn't really get to the bottom of this. And then you go to the highest listening audiences in the mainstream, and they don't get to it either. So the newspapers, they don't get to it because they're controlled by the same organization. And that's my biggest gripe. So that's one fact you need to know about them. And I'll get to more as the days go on. But I thought it'd be better to do maybe one at a time, not to inundate you. I like that word, inundate. I think I'll go on and inundate tonight. Well, I didn't want to inundate you with 10 facts. There's so many more than 10, so we'll do maybe 1 or 2 a day. Or if I get tired, I won't do any tomorrow. Well, no, till Monday. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back Monday on the Investigative Journal, so listen. And also, if you want to donate to the cause, you can go to my website at greganthonysjournal.wordpress.com. You can listen to my older shows. I haven't been updating them recently. And go to gregbeacon@gmail.com, and you can donate to the cause. All right. So, what did I want to talk about here for the last 18 minutes? And I purposely only did one fact about Rome and the Jesuits that you should know about, because I wanted to leave the rest of this open to a mind-blowing discussion. I find this interesting. On the FE talk. FE. I don't say flat earth because people think you're nuts. You'll hear Shaq in here too. You know, Shaquille O'Neal says a couple. He's on Jimmy Kimmel. He only says, well, you should believe it. So I thought it'd be interesting because a lot of people don't. And I just wanted to let others talk about this. I don't even know what they're going to say, but I listened to the first minute and it sounded quite interesting. And there's so many different comments here. It says mega YouTube star. Is there mega YouTube stars now? Shane Dawson speaks with his brother about the FE, and his mind is blown. A very fair and balanced breakdown of this conspiracy fact, and let's call it that for now because 99% of the people don't believe it. And there was a time I believed the world was round, then there was a time I believed it's flat, and now, I don't know, I'm still kind of in that flat universe right now. So let's see what these gentlemen have to say on the Investigative Journal.
I need somebody to tell me about a conspiracy. And it's from one of the biggest conspiracy theorists I know, my own brother. And what he told me was mind-blowing. I know, flat Earth, one of the most controversial theories of all time. And I'm going to be honest, I've never even looked into it because there's such a stigma.
We're going to talk about the flat earthers.
What is a flat earth society, by the way?
People who believe the earth is flat.
Still?
Yeah.
That was a joke about the world being flat, right? Was it not?
I wanted to try something new. Come up with a new segment for these conspiracy videos. I want to talk to somebody who believes in a crazy conspiracy theory, and they have to try to convince me to believe in it too. So I went to the biggest conspiracy theorist I know, my brother. Okay, I am here with my brother Jared, who might be an even bigger conspiracy theorist than me.
If that's even possible. I'm trying.
So I want to talk to you about the flat earth theory, because it's something that you've kind of touched on, and I always kind of like move on because I've heard it's so crazy.
It is very crazy. In order for you to even start to take it seriously, you have to put yourself in the mind frame of people that believe in the flat earth. And why would they even want to believe in the flat earth?
Well, you're saying they, so you don't believe it?
I'm open to the idea. I don't know. For me, at least, it's hard for me to pinpoint what I believe. So I'm open to both.
Same.
What?
You sound like a bisexual. Okay.
I'm down for the flat earth, but that round earth got me too.
Okay.
I'm a weekend flat earther.
Okay, so we have to be in the mindset, right?
Yeah, so you got to be in the mindset. So you have to think about the foundation of it. All the information that we get about the Earth, about space, the moon, and all these things comes from NASA. Every picture that you've ever seen is given to you by NASA. So NASA is also associated with the moon landing being a hoax.
One small step for man.
They are some of the most famous images in history. But why are there no stars in the night sky? Why is the American flag waving here when there was no air to cause any breeze?
There are moments where the crosshairs lie behind equipment.
Where guys fall forward and looks like they get yanked up by wires.
Reflected in the visor is a mysterious object.
I'm sure that's something that everyone at this point has heard of, right? All the pictures that they take of the Earth are composite images, so no images that we see are actually ever a camera from real far away looking at the Earth.
Wait, what do you mean?
They're all composite images, because they can't just get it all in one shot, so they have to go around the Earth and take a bunch of pictures, and then they piece it together.
International Space Station residents only see about 3% of Earth's surface at any one time.
If you zoom in on them, there's cloud formations that repeat several times, which, how could that ever really happen? They're just copying and pasting things.
There's a small problem with it because there's a very slight gap in between each orbit. It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
That's one thing that builds distrust, because you have to have distrust of who's giving you your information to feel like maybe the flat Earth is feasible, right?
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Well, and even the moon landing is one of those things where, like, maybe 20 years ago, everybody thought, oh, that's stupid, that's crazy. But now, I feel like kind of everybody's down for the moon landing.
I mean, they say all the footage of the original moon landing was lost.
You know what they think happened to the original moon tapes? Is they might have been taped over. It's not a cassette. It's not an old mixtape from college.
We've been unable to track it down.
As I said, even if we have it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
It's incredible that we can keep track of Egyptian pots from 2,000 years ago, but we lose tapes made only 40 years ago.
So we lose all the footage, and all the technology was destroyed.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
And then, if you take science into consideration, science only works if you have one magical event that no one has to actually have proof for. Everything stems from the Big Bang Theory. Something the size of a pinhead, two atoms connecting, blowing up, and creating everything that's in this universe.
In a millionth of 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 a second, it went from a size smaller than an atom to bigger than a galaxy.
Right, and then Einstein thought of the theory of gravity, which is just a theory. You have the Big Bang Theory, the theory of gravity. So now we have a disbelief for these things. The last thing that you have to think about is religion. So in the Bible, it talks about the sea, there's the sky, there's the firmament. What the firmament is a dome.
It says that in the Bible.
Yeah, there's a firmament, so the dome-shaped, the heavens are above it, and then it talks about how the earth expands to its four corners. So that also would make you feel like there could be a flat shape to it.
Okay, so really quick, give us a breakdown. What is the flat earth theory, and
why does it exist? So, the flat Earth theory is that we are not on a ball, we're not on a sphere. We're on something that's flat, a flat plane, a planet, right, is just the word plane with a T. And Antarctica, which is in the very south, is an ice wall that's around all of the continents. So instead of us being able to go around the world, it's all enclosed by Antarctica's ice wall. So the United Nations map is actually the flat Earth map model. They have actual borders around this, and then you see all the continents spread out. So if this was a globe, they spread it out like this. So that's the model that they believe in. There's an Arctic ice wall around it. And one reason this gets perpetuated and people think it's valid to think Antarctica is the barrier is because in the late 50s there was a treaty signed by almost all the major countries of power to not let anybody go into Antarctica. So if you try to get close to Antarctica, they're going to tell you, get the hell out of here. You could go on little explorations of it, but nothing without a bunch of people monitoring you, right? And planes don't fly over it. All flight patterns take you away from Antarctica. No one's flying directly over it. They always take a weird route. Like, there was an airplane that was going from the Philippines to Los Angeles, which should be a straight route, Philippines to Los Angeles. Mid-flight, a woman, her water broke. So they had to make emergency landing. They could have either just turned around or kept going to Los Angeles. Somehow they ended up in Alaska. So the flight plan to get them from Philippines to Alaska, if you put it on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line from the Philippines to Alaska. But when you put it on a globe, it makes no sense, right? So there's like, let me break some stuff down. The world that we live in. Let's really analyze this. We live in a world that is all based on material things. Materialism really is what controls the country. Money, really it's about sex, it's about objects.
This is my shoe closet.
I see it is my closet. Everything here would be designer. Gucci, Louis, Versace.
It's about egos and how people feel about themselves. All marketing is based off of fears and compulsions to make us be driven to want to do things, right? So our whole life is filled with billboards and advertisements and commercials, and it keeps us very occupied on that surface level of life, right? And it makes it easier to control you. You know, music is a huge influence on the culture. You know, we had gangster rap 20 years ago.
Rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone. When I'm called off, I got a sawed off. Switch the trigger and bodies are hauled off.
And then all of a sudden, the prison system started filling up even faster. You have nowadays with people rapping about Xanax and opiates.
Xanax gone fake, yeah. Designer shoes and Xanax time. Pumping on eggs, pumping on eggs, pumping on egg pills.
So obviously the kids now are putting themselves into a deeper slumber. Like they want to dumb us down and just make us robotic. You know, just to make us feel like just pawns in a chess game. Think about like marijuana. We live in a world where there's a seed that if you put it in dirt in front of your house, you could possibly go to jail.
Arrested for selling brownies laced with pie. Jacob Avoro now faces a possible life sentence.
You were sentenced to life without parole for possession of marijuana. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
They don't allow you to do psychedelic drugs. They make you feel like those are the devil and those are evil. But things like alcohol are legal. Prescription drugs are legal. You know, things that are really killing people. So they want to suppress us.
Wait, you think weed and like mushrooms and stuff, you think for the most part all that's illegal because why?
Because things like weed or things like mushrooms, they expand your mind and they really put you into the universe and it puts you in a perspective of what life is all about. For instance, there's a drug DMT. 90% of people that smoke this drug, when they first smoke it, they hear in their head, "We're so happy you found this technology."
Ew! Oh my God! Right? Ew!
So think about that. I mean, so they want to get you into something where they can completely control you. I mean, we're at the point now where they put little machines in your house to basically do everything for you. Where you have phones that listen on everything to tell you your next purchase that you want to make.
And then, on my Instagram feed, a commercial for Triscuits popped up. They're listening.
They're listening in.
I mean, they want to be able to go in your house and stock your groceries.
That's true.
That's just a test to see, are the people ready for that yet? Are they ready for us to go in their house and stock their fridge? Like,
the flat Earth kind of makes sense if you think the simulation theory is real. Why wouldn't the Earth be flat? Why wouldn't there be an ending on each side? And Elon Musk, the guy that really made it popular.
Obviously, this feels real. The odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions. I don't think I'm being played by somebody in a video game.
But then people in video games don't generally think that.
He's like a genius, everybody trusts him, he created Tesla, all these things. Well, one thing that he did that like a lot of flat earthers felt like was a personal attack was when he sent that car into space with a camera. It showed that the earth was round. And everybody's like, see, flat earth is stupid. Elon Musk showed us that it's round. But in that video, there is a weird moment. And it's like a glitch. And it's a moment where it kind of looks like a green screen. You see the earth behind the car. And then it's a studio. And then it's back. Now that's been debunked. But it is weird that that happened.
Who knows? Maybe this is Elon Musk's way of giving us a little Easter egg. Maybe he never actually shot this car into space. Because this guy believes in this whole simulation theory. So why does he care about outer space? Maybe that was a little thing to put in there. Like, hey guys, let me give you a little idea that all of this is fake. All this space stuff is fake. You know what I'm saying? This is just a distraction. And then, where's the curve? Have you ever seen the curve of the Earth?
You get your information from a book written by men you've never met. And you take their words as true.
I mean, they say, well, in an airplane you could see it, but I can't see it. You're at 6 feet tall. I can see about 3 miles ahead of me. And I can see about 20 miles in the panoramic setting. If I'm 10,000 feet up, more than 1,000 times taller than what I am, shouldn't I be able to see about 1,000 times more at minimum? I mean, the Earth is only 24,000 miles around. I should be able to see some kind of a curve. They send hot air balloons up. They just still see the same horizon.
So if the Earth is flat, why do the people in charge want us to think it's round?
Because on a round Earth, hurling through space at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour, we're not really here for a purpose. We're just here coincidentally because of a Big Bang and the particles and evolution. But on a flat Earth, with a dome on top of it, or even just a flat Earth with just the heavens above, all of a sudden we have purpose. Think about if the moon knew your name, how personally you'd feel with the universe. You know the moon's name, but the moon doesn't know your name. You're not important to the moon. But what if the moon existed solely for you? What if the universe was for you? But instead, the government wants you to feel like it's all unpredictable and at any point it's all going to go to shit because we really don't matter anyways. We're just a rock flying through space. So it just makes us feel insignificant. And that's easier for them to control. And the best way to take over people is to create conflicts and to get them obsessive over things that don't really matter to their existence.
It is the biggest leap forward since the original iPhone.
What do you like about Supreme?
The hype and the exclusivity.
So a lot of people are coming for the accessories, especially like this shovel.
Yeah,
or
the shovel's kind of crazy.
Why does everyone want the crowbar?
Because it's a fucking crowbar. Are you fucking serious?
Think about it. The Earth literally grows things out of the dirt that provide you all you need to exist. Why the fuck are we going to McDonald's or to Starbucks or to all these places to spend all of our money?
Oh my god, look at this beautiful drink. It looks so cool. It tastes amazing too.
There was a system built around society to control you within it.
I'm off to McDonald's to see all the boys and girls.
They constantly make you want more.
So now that I'm thinking about that, why is everybody that even thinks maybe there's a possibility of the Earth being flat called crazy?
Because it's a way to discredit people. So by them calling you crazy, they discredited everything about you. You know, once you find out someone is a flat earther, are you going to take anything they say seriously? You know, and then also, conspiracy theorist is a term created to make people look crazy in the first place.
Right.
Like, when did we become a society that instead of exploring theories, started calling things conspiracies? Like, it's almost they don't want you to be a free thinker. And then all of a sudden, when you started looking up on Google and YouTube about the flat earth, where 6 months ago, a year ago, it was all pretty cool videos that gave you reasons to believe maybe this is a possibility.
Yeah.
But now when you Google it, it's all sketches about how stupid it is, or like, people are so dumb and I can't believe people believe this. So it's almost, how do you stop information from spreading? You discredit all of it by flooding the information highways with the debunking stuff, or you're crazy if you believe this. The government actually has a website called the Flat Earth Society just to spread bad information. Why would the government put out information to debunk something that's clearly insane? You know, because right when you Google it, if all you see is you're crazy if you believe this, why would you want to look further into that? So it doesn't ever let you get to the point of the theory that really has value. The reason I like the theory, because it puts me in a place that I matter, that I have a purpose. There's design. This was designed as opposed to just coincidentally happening. That I somehow, you know, have meaning in this, as opposed to I'm a speck of dirt on this planet that's just hurtling through space. You know, and they don't want you to feel like that. So that really is what it is. In order to control the sheep, you have to make them feel like there's a gate there. So they constantly keep a gate there. There's videos of sheep that they take out the barbed wire on a gate, and they believe the gate is still there. So they all smash against this area without being forced in by the gate. They've just been trained that this rectangular area that has a gate is where you stay. They could go at any point, it's just they're brainwashed into believing that that gate's still there, right? What would they think if all of a sudden they realize there's no gate there, I can run free? What would that do to the sheep herder? The sheep herder has to make those sheep believe that they're stuck there, and their only purpose is to follow him and do what he says. All we are is just getting furred for sweaters and chopped up for meat to eat. Do you know what I'm saying? That's how we're being treated. What are sheep for? Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so now that we've talked about it, do you think the Earth is flat?
100% honest, I don't care about the shape of the Earth. To be honest with you, we're generalizing the theory when we just call it flat Earth. Flat Earth is just one variable. It's just the shape of the Earth. Do I believe that this Earth was designed to have things on it that could have purpose? Yes. So I see myself attracted more to it than I do a Big Bang Theory where people evolved and we're just here because of a cycle and that's pretty much it. And then at any point an asteroid's going to hit us and we're all going to be dust. So I subscribe to the ideology of the Flat Earth theory.
Okay, and I agree. I subscribe to the same theory for basically some of the same reasons that this guy was just talking about. So think about it yourself, check it out, and see what you come up with. We'll be back Monday on the Investigative Journal. Back Monday. See you then. Have a good weekend.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.